Okay, here we go. Good morning from where I am. Good evening from where Asia is. My name is Reggie Beloved, and I'm coming to you live at this time for another interview in the Haitian Free Thinkers series. After many months of anticipating this interview, it's happening where I have AJ there on the other side. I'm gonna let him talk in a second. But for those who don't know who we are, who I am the founder of the Haitian Free Thinkers. Haitian Free Thinkers is one of the few groups for Haitian secular people like myself. I happen to be an atheist, and so what I like to do is just talk to other people who share similar views, just to kind of get their stories to motivate other people to see that there's others out there just like them and that it's okay to be who you are. That's the long story short. Haitian Free Thinkers, the group is on Facebook. That's where we started. So if you are interested in us, we're interested in you. You can just search Haitian Free Thinkers. Everything that comes up, that's us, Haitian Free Thinkers. We're on all the major social medias, and yeah, that's about it. So without any further delay, I just want to introduce AJ to you. But before I continue, this show is going to be a little bit different where we're going to spice it up by adding a little bit of Haitian Creole. So whatever I say, I'll add a little Creole, and AJ is going to speak. Um, which language are you going to speak, AJ?
I'm gonna choose one. Tagalog, maybe.
Tagalog?
Yes.
Tagalog?
Yes.
Okay. So there you go. So let's start that right now. So moi, les Réginal bien, well, Régie Beloved. Et puis, moi, commencé groupe qui est les Haitian Free Thinkers depuis 2012. Haitian Free Thinkers là pour moun qui pa kwen nan Dieu, moun qui laïque ou bien secular. Ça veut dire que moun qui pa kwen nan religion, qui pa kwen nan Dieu. Donc, depuis ou intéressé nan nous et ou ka jwenn nous sur Facebook, juste mettez Haitian Free Thinkers et puis ou ap jwenn nous de pou yon question ka écrit nous et puis m'a répondre. Yeah, so AJ is coming to us live 11 hours into the future. I'm actually in the past as far as he's concerned. So he's been kind enough to spend some time with me, and I really appreciate it. So it's 11 o'clock a.m. here Eastern. It's 11 p.m. What time zone?
Malaysia Standard Time.
Malaysian Standard Time. Okay. So yeah, the floor is yours now, AJ. Just a little bit of an introduction.
Okay, sure. So I should start with introducing my name. My name is Alvin John, but I go by AJ to make it less mouthful, and of course easier to remember. Just two letters, right? And I'm 35 years old. And where I'm from the Philippines, but currently based in Malaysia. So I should code switch to Tagalog. Pangalan ko po ay si AJ. At ang edad ko ay 35 at galing po ako ng Pilipinas.
Okay, that's beautiful. I guess I should say my age too. Reggie, 43 years old. Um, born in Haiti, born in Haiti, currently living in Atlanta, Georgia, but raised in South Florida. Moi, c'est Reggie, moi, j'ai 43 ans. Moi, fait en Haïti, dans Port-au-Prince. Kounya, moi, vive dans Atlanta. Et puis, bon, yeah. So, all right. So, Malaysia. So how many languages, I just thought about it, um,
Yeah.
do the people speak in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, there are officially six languages and then over 70 dialects.
Six official, 17 dialects.
70.
70. Wow.
Yes, over 70 dialects. And
So
that's actually spread across over 7,000 islands. So that's how they know.
7,000 islands.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Um, which one is the most popular language?
The more, yeah, the most popular is Tagalog, and then it is actually understood by all. Like, let's say 70% of the population of the Philippines. That's
Okay.
why I chose Tagalog.
But how many languages do you actually speak or understand?
Um, I speak fluently four languages. I speak Hiligaynon, that's my mother tongue. That's the language of our island. And then the second language is, of course, English. And third language is Tagalog. My fourth language is Cebuano. And then yeah, I can understand Ilocano. That's another language in northern Luzon. That's the northernmost region of the Philippines. And I understand some dialects in the Philippines. And I understand Malay, the Malay language as well. And I
Fantastic.
can I can converse a little.
Okay. Well, my mother tongue is Haitian Creole. Um, we went to school and we were taught in French, so I understand French a little bit. Well, enough I can read it. If you speak it slow enough, I can understand it. I lost my conversational, but English, and I love languages. I love German. That's the language I'd like to learn, speak Brazilian too. But anyway, uh, awesome, awesome. Tell us a little bit about Happy. That's how I stumbled upon you through Marissa. Well, tell us about Happy, your affiliation with it.
Okay, sure, sure. But of course, I should start first with I should inform everyone that I'm an atheist. I consider myself an atheist, and that has brought me to Happy. That's how I found out about Happy because I was an atheist back in 2013, 2014. So I was looking for a community. All right. So that's how I got into Happy. So I found out about Happy on Facebook. And then Happy stands for the Humanist Alliance Philippines International. Okay. And then Happy is a non-profit community of progressive secular humanists from all over the world because yeah, we have members from all over the world, but most of us are in the Philippines. And then yeah, we're international. Our work is international, but our primary focus is in the Philippines. And then most of our beneficiaries are in the Philippines. So yeah, that's what we are, and we are the first government recognized secular humanist organization in the Philippines. So we have been a legal entity in the Philippines since 2015, as far as I can remember.
Okay, so I'm gonna translate what you said a little bit. Et j'ai dit comme ça que ils sont athées et puis ils s'étaient athées depuis 2013-2014. Ils dans un groupe qui est les HAPI, qui est les Humanist Alliance Philippines International. Et puis c'est un groupe, un premier groupe que gouvernement philippino reconnaît comme un groupe officiel. Um, I'm glad that you kicked it off by saying that you're atheist. I'm an atheist as well. Um, I like to be clear with definitions. When you say you're an atheist, what do you mean for those, let's say, who never heard the term?
Okay, for a starter, an atheist is someone who does not believe in a god. So one who does not worship any form of deity. So that's what an atheist is.
Me too. I'm an atheist. I do not worship any god. So that's great. Were you religious before you became an atheist?
Yes, I have a quite interesting story about that because my background was I was a Baptist pastor. Right? Again, I was a Baptist pastor.
You were
Right?
a pastor.
Yeah, yeah, for 6 years. So I studied in a seminary. So I graduated my bachelor's of theology in seminary, and then I became a pastor. And then I was a pastor for 6 good years. All right, and then and then yeah, I started questioning things about my religion, about my beliefs, and all that. So I was a very religious person back then. And I even considered myself at one point an apologist, a Christian apologist at that.
Wow, I had no idea that you were a pastor. So when you got nominated by Marissa, I did not know that you came with such high credentials. Well, that's fantastic. I have another gentleman who I know he was, I believe, an official pastor by training. He actually went to India, if I remember correctly, to do some missionary work, and now he's a really, really big, prominent atheist in the well in the Haitian community online on Facebook. So that's amazing. Um, what happened?
What happened was, well, interesting question. What happened was, I have actually a cousin who's very much involved in online debates, right? And then I found out that he's an atheist. We grew up together, right? So we grew up together in church. So our parents were no, they're still very religious. So our parents are both religious, and then we studied the Bible together growing up, and then I found out that he is already an atheist. So I started to debate him online about his beliefs. Then yeah, of course I lost because he was more rational during that time. So he was more scientific in his arguments. And then I found out that I am not really that good. I was not really that good in debate. So there. Then I started my personal journey, and then I found atheism. I started first with well, studying about nihilism, existentialism, and all those isms. And then okay, eventually I ended up as an atheist.
So during your studies in school and college, there was not many things that gave you reason to question without the help of your cousin.
There were questions, but I have to snub them because I don't want to, like, because back when I was still very religious, I was I had questions, but I just want to dismiss them. Like, it's challenging my faith, so I don't want that. So it was kind of, yeah, it was that kind of situation. That was it before.
Okay. I don't know how much you know about Haitian people, Haitian history in their religious story, but I know a little bit about the Philippines, and I always assumed that the Philippines were mostly Catholic.
Yeah,
So is that correct?
yes, 90% Catholic.
9%. Okay, so what's the other percent? What's the breakdown currently, as far as you know, of
Yeah, 90% Catholic, 15% Islam, and then the rest are, no, no, sorry, my math is bad. 90% Catholic, about 7% Islam, and then some 3% some other sects.
so 90% Catholic,
Yes,
7%
Islam.
Muslim, and
Yeah,
3% other.
yeah.
But from the Christian side, you end up being a Baptist. So how
Yes.
come you didn't become like a Catholic?
Yeah, we were, because I'm from the island, so it's an island predominantly Baptist. It's a predominantly Baptist island. So there. And then for the rest of the country, because there are over 7,000 islands, right? So for the rest of the countries, most of them are Catholics. And then there's some islands that are non-Catholic predominant religions.
Hmm. Okay. Wow, that I'm learning right along with everybody. So obviously Marissa nominated you. So Marissa is she's the founder of Happy, correct?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Um so once you so you start not arguments but debates with your cousin,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then that got you on the road to being an atheist,
Yes,
and then you were looking for community, and that's how you found Happy.
yes.
So once you got in Happy, um what was your involvement as far as like official? I don't know if you did any work for them besides just like doing stuff like what we're doing.
Mhm. Yeah. First off, of course, I found a sense of community, of a sense of community. All right, and then that made me happy. And then I was a chapter head for one of the chapters of Happy. Then I became the executive director of the Humanist Alliance Philippines International from 2017 to 2019. So that's a good 2 years for me. And then now I am the engagement manager of Happy.
Okay, engagement manager. Okay, so what does that entail?
Yeah. So what I basically do is I try to reach out to our networks, to our friends, other organizations in Southeast Asia. So I try to make their um, we try to create an activity that we can do together, right? And then also I try to make our members involved in what we do. For example, we have an outreach to a community, so we invite our people, our members, to go with our group, so to do charity works, to um, provide people stuff that they need, and then most of the things that we do is basically about teaching people like how to think critically. So we have established reading rooms in several locations. Okay, so those reading rooms, of course, they include books that can make you think critically. So we have our own book, by the way. There are two editions of them already. So from wait, sorry, the name of the book is um, from superstitions. I mean, wait, that's our book, but I can't remember the exact name. um, Give me one sec here.
No
Yeah,
problem.
Superstition to Reason. From Superstition to Reason. That's the title of our book. So there are two editions of that already.
And what language?
Uh, Mix. So that's in English and in Tagalog.
Good, good. That's important because when I started Haitian Free Thinkers back in 2012, I realized that you know what, this is a really big undertaking because I just got into the atheist movement and I got inspired to like do this thing for Haitian people, but I didn't know pretty much anybody. And then you know how like you can share material. Your cousin can send stuff to you, and from some YouTuber who speaks English, and you can consume the material. But like, where's that? We don't have a book
Mm,
Creole. And on top of that, when Haitians, when they do, if they go to school, they get educated in French. Now, the French atheist community, I'm sure, have material that I can share, but on YouTube is not as prevalent to me as the English stuff. So that's why I try to include a little bit of Creole whenever I do my stuff, so that people can kind of see that we have stuff. So that's wonderful. Um, So if you made to become a pastor,
yeah.
that means you were in a church
Yes.
and then you left church. How did your family and the church family take your turn to
Yeah.
become secular? That's really big.
Yes. It was really hard. It really hit me hard. So I just so you know that I did not come out in the open yet. That I did not come out to them as an atheist. Like there was no formal announcement that hey, I'm an atheist. No, there was none. Okay, but I know that they know already, but they didn't tell me about my atheism. They didn't they didn't bother to ask me why I decide to become an atheist. But they just occasionally remind me that I maybe I should go back to church. Maybe I should just return to God and all that. But all in all, maybe I can say that there was no big deal. It was no big deal to them,
Hmm.
right? So they didn't tell me anything that they're against my decision. No, they didn't. So they're just aware that I'm an atheist already, but I didn't do any announcement.
Okay. Before you became an atheist, did you know of any other Filipino atheists? Like, is there like a famous example that people can say, okay, it's okay. I'm just like this person.
Yeah, Marissa definitely, because she's like our mother. She's a
Well,
mother to all of us in the Philippine atheist societies.
okay, so she would be the example. No other person, no, I guess almost for the lack of a better term, famous like on television or some some person of that type of fame.
No,
No, no.
no, Miss
Yeah,
M definitely.
yeah.
Miss M. And then just an addendum though, to your question. How did my church? It was actually my church that I got the negative reaction because I did, just so you know. I mean, just to remind you that I did come out as an atheist to them, but they just, of course, found out that I'm already an atheist, so they, yeah, cold treatment. So they did a cold treatment on me, and
Hmm.
then yeah, so they, some of them blocked me on Facebook.
Wow.
Yes.
Um, is the Bible been translated? Has the Bible been translated in Tagalog already?
Yes, yes, in multiple languages, in
In
all languages, available languages in the Philippines.
okay. How does that impact the people's um ingestion or availability or understanding of the book since they have it in a lot of the languages that they understand? Because on our side, on the Haitian side, it is available in Creole. Although I would say that the Creole is very different from what I know. It's almost as if you can see that an American thinking and pushing out information. I don't know if if uh, if you've had any kind of impression like that because it's different from a native speaker. I think that if you were to translate the Bible from language X to Tagalog, right, you would choose different sets of words. But if let's say I learn Tagalog and I'm speaking it, I think you can see or detect
Yeah,
some some foreignness. Does that make sense? Did
yeah,
you did you get that impression or was it a good
yes.
rendition?
No, not a good rendition at all. So, for example, my first language is Hiligaynon, right? So
Okay.
they have Bibles translated to Hiligaynon, but the Hiligaynon that they use is not the Hiligaynon that we use in our everyday conversation. So, yeah, they sound Greek to us, to most of us. So, what are they talking about in the Bible? So that's what people ask, and then yeah, they go to, of course, the pastors, and then the pastors would translate them in common Hiligaynon. That's the so that's how things are. I mean, that's how the Bible is being relayed to the common folks here, in our island, and then in the Philippines, in whichever language that is.
And that's what people don't understand who only speak one language. When we tell them, or let's say Jewish people tell them that, hey, your translation in English is not correct.
Mm,
There was mistakes in there. They really don't appreciate the how things can get lost in translation literally. So you have three main languages that the Bible was supposedly written in:
mm.
Hebrew, Greek, and what's the third one?
Latin,
No, not Latin written in
Aramaic.
Aramaic, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you have these three, and then of course Latin became a big one when the Catholics started their project.
Mm.
But the point is that if the Hebrew or the Jewish people are telling you no, you have it wrong, and this is the base language, it would behoove the others to listen. But that's
Yeah.
one of the big things that they don't listen. But that's fantastic. When you were a pastor, did you go on any kind of mission trips to, I guess, convert? I mean, I'm thinking if the Philippines are not overwhelmingly Catholic, who are you trying to preach to? Everybody's already pretty much religious or Christian.
Catholics.
Oh, you're trying to go and convert Catholics.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we do because we have this impression that Catholics they have the false religion.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
that's how we term them. The all religions outside of our religion is a false religion. So okay, so those Catholics are our mission. Okay, so our yeah, yeah, so we were taught to Christianize the Catholics when they're already Christians. So yeah,
That's interesting. So if one Christian group looks at the other Christian group that way, imagine how they look at other people who are not even Christian. That's really amazing.
exactly.
But okay, so from the Haitian side, the long story short is that we were brought over from Africa during the slave
Mm.
trade to the island of Hispaniola. So we were not originally Christians by any chance. So we a lot of some Haitians maintain a African version of our old um,
Voodoo.
thing called, a lot of people call it voodoo, right?
Mm.
So some people still practice it in West Africa. So that would be more native to us before, because there's a colonial past with the Philippines and Spain and everything. There's a little bit of history. Don't the people um aren't there anybody that remember, like, hey, you know what, these people brought this religion to us, this was not our native way of life? Does that register to the believers at all?
No. So
Wow.
we hate our colonizers to the bones, but we embrace their religion. Yeah.
You hate the colonizers, but you embrace the religion.
Yes.
Colonizers, the only one that comes to mind is the Spanish,
Yes.
right?
Spain.
But there were others.
Yes.
Who were the
So
others?
so after the Spanish colonization for over 300 years, so 3 centuries of enslaving our people. After that came the Americans. So we were under the American rule for around maybe 5 years. No, no, not 5 years, but 30 years. Sorry, 30 years, and then Japanese. So we were under the Japanese rule for another 5 years.
Hmm. Okay. But to my knowledge, the Spanish had the longest impression because
Yes.
they were there the longest. Okay. So you hate the colonizers, but you kept.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in I know there's 70,000 islands. Does anybody practice some of the old ways?
Yeah, 7,000 islands. Yes, we do have like the babaylan. Those are like the shamanism, our version of shamanism in the
Mhm.
Philippines. So yeah, and then in other islands, they call them with different names, but it's basically shamanism in their own island, their version of shamanism.
But their numbers are very small, which is why you say that they're part of that 3%
Yeah,
minority, correct?
very small, very very small.
Okay. So the people that are Christian or Muslim, they've embraced the colonizers' um religion, and but they still don't like the colonizers. Where did who brought Islam to the Philippines? Because the people that you mentioned, the Spanish,
Hmm.
the Americans, the Japanese, those are not big Muslim people that I know of. So do you know where the Islam influence come from?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, Islam. it came to the Philippines earlier than the Spanish colonizers. So they were
Oh,
here before. I mean, they were in the Philippines before the Spanish came. It's just that they only did the certain part of the Philippines. So
mm,
they didn't really go north. So
oh,
they only have a small influence on the island of Sulu and some parts of the bigger island of Mindanao, and that's just it.
I'm assuming it was through trading that
Yes,
they encountered each other. Okay. And as far as you know, when Islam came, it was it because our history with Christianity is through oppression. To be honest with you,
yeah.
they didn't really give us options. They just kind of beat us and mistreated us, and to me, that's enough of a reason not to be Christian. You know, and and not only that, but Haiti is famous for being the first successful black slave rebellion and forming a republic. But in the Bible, it talks straight up about slavery. So I don't
Yeah.
know why the people um, embrace this religion, but anyway, that's a whole different thing. So we talked about your family. We talked about the church. What challenges do secular people face in the Philippines and or Malaysia? I mean, I know you're currently in Malaysia, so we'll touch on both. What challenges do they face?
Not much on the Philippine side because in the Philippines, people are more tolerant. Even yeah, you can just say out loud that you're an atheist. Okay, so no one bats an eyelash for you doing that. Okay, so that's not gonna create any problem, right? As long as you don't go in a church where there's a mass going on and then you shout and scream at the people or the priest. So that's one thing that you cannot do in the Philippines, right? So creating disturbance while a mass is going on. But you can just simply just say I'm an atheist and then no big deal. So that's not that of an issue in the Philippines. But here in Malaysia, it's a different thing, okay? Because Malaysia is a predominantly a Muslim country, okay? So in their constitution, they're a secular. On paper, they're secular, but in practice, they're actually Islam or Islamic in practice. Okay, so the government funds Islamic causes and all that. So it's things are more difficult here in Malaysia than in the Philippines, being a secular humanist or an atheist. For example, if you're born to as a Malay, you're born to a Malay family, you're automatically a Muslim. So you will have that etched on your identity card. Okay, so that means that you cannot go to places like where they serve alcohol. Okay, so you cannot go to places where they serve pork. Okay, that's prohibited for you as a Malay person who has Islam on your identity card. So that's something that's prohibited. And if you do that, then you might just need to pay the price, like get in prison or pay a fine of up to 10,000 ringgit. So there. And also, Malaysia is, um, aside that religion is being enforced, if you're an atheist, a humanist, or even a liberal, okay, so you will get threats, definitely. And then there are even some threats that they will hunt down atheists, like back in 2017. And
Wow.
then, yeah. And then, of course, homophobia. That's in the Philippines, yes, so homophobia is less. But here in Malaysia, it's just worse, right? So, also, there were raids, okay, because in Malaysia, if you're an unmarried couple, for example, and then if you have Malay in your identity card, you cannot just check in a hotel or a motel. That's prohibited. So sometimes royal police will just raid the place and then yeah put you to jail. Yeah,
This identity card, you say, you you get these titles on you, but young people, they don't get IDs here in the United States per se, unless their parents use them for school purposes or medical. But when I think of an ID, I think of like a driver's license, and that's when the person's a little bit older. They kind of make their own choice. What IDs do the Malays get where they have Muslim and Malay
Hmm.
on their stuff? Where if I'm, I don't know, 11 years old, what am I doing with this ID?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually they call it an IC. So it's an IC like it identifies you as okay. So you belong to the Indian race, to the Malay race, to the Chinese race, and then along with that is your religion. You're a Buddhist, you're a Muslim, you're a Hindu, you're a Christian. So you get that. I can't remember. I'm not exactly sure. Not entirely sure how old will you be able to get that. But yeah, I see young ones like as young as 7 years old carrying their ICs because they use that for train, for buses. They use that for practically everything.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
this policy's been there for a long time, I'm assuming.
Yes, for a long time.
Hmm. But is that a way to? I mean, is there a way to discriminate too? You
Yeah.
know, so like if I were to go to where you are, and what would I put in my IC?
Foreigners they don't really require IC for foreigners. So all you need to do is just present your passport.
What
Then
if
you'll be good.
what if I wanted to live there for more than just temporary? I want to be part of the culture. What do I do
Okay.
then?
Yeah, the good thing is they're actually good with foreigners. So for example, if you're a good paying foreigner, for example, if you apply for a long term visa here, so that means they can make money out of you. Right? So they have that level of tolerance. Yeah, for people who pay.
But what would my credentials say if I were to be truthful and not necessarily risk safety? What would my ID say?
Oh, okay. This is pretty. How should I phrase this?
It,
But
it,
yeah,
would, it would not be Malay. If I were
okay.
to be truthful, I wouldn't be Muslim. It's not
Mm.
Christian. So I want to be truthful, but I don't want problems. So what's your guesstimate on what it might possibly say? American?
If you're American, if your passport bears, if you have an American passport, you'll be good. Yeah. But sometimes, yeah, just sometimes people judge the skin color here. Yeah. So if you belong to like the darker shade, then of course you'll be judged. Like people here are, yeah, they discriminate races.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you are in public, you don't say anything. How are you looked at? Do they know? Can they tell where you're from, and how are you treated? I mean, I don't know how long you've been there, but how
I've been here for over 2 years.
so how do people treat you?
Yeah, they're good because actually because I have brown skin, I look Malay like because the Malays are the whites of Malaysia. So in
Oh,
in the in the US, yeah, the whites are like you know, the white privilege. So here they have the brown privilege. So if you look Malay, you're okay. You're good. But if you're darker than the standard Malay color and then that's yeah, not necessarily will create a problem, but you might run into issues. For example, let me give you an example. In some of the places where you would want to rent, you go to, for example, there's a website, and then you look for a place to rent. Some of the requirements they would put in no blacks, yeah, yes, and then no Africans. So yeah,
wow. And that's legal, or there's just nobody's checking up on it?
uh, I'm not sure if it's legal, but no one's bothered by it. I mean, yeah, there's some. would call that signage out, but it's just there. It exists.
Wow, that's sad, interesting, but that's reality in a lot of places. I'm assuming there's a decent amount of immigrants there, trying to make
Yes.
better lives, um, and they face some of the same criticism that, frankly, immigrants from everywhere face. And so that's just life. But anyway, as far as religion, going back to religion, those questions that came to your mind as a pastor or pastor in training, do you
Mm,
remember them? I mean, what? Because I think that a lot of things that you thought of, I would say the average um, person would think of. So, can you remember some
mm.
questions that might have bugged you?
Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, my PC's battery is running low, but it's okay. All right. What has bugged me really was the question of existence. So where do I go from here? Is there even a life after death? So which version of life after death should I believe in? So
That version.
those were the yeah, yeah. So which version of life after death should I believe in? So those questions. And then also those questions that involve the how is God still good when he allows evil? So yes,
Okay.
let's add that to the questions I have had.
What about your formal education before religion, like just elementary, middle school, high school, and maybe some college? Are there is the Filipino system, I guess, we talked about critical thinking. Um, does that kind of interfere with the religious training? For example, science is one of the big things that people talk about all the time.
Mm,
Science versus religion. When you took your introductory classes in school,
mm.
it wasn't about Adam and Eve. I'm sure. What did they teach, and how did that conflict with what the Bible teaches? Looks like the devil knows what AJ is about to say and is interfering. He did say his laptop battery was a little bit low, so hopefully he comes on in a few seconds. But I've been enjoying this conversation, and I hope you have as well. If you're unable to listen live, that's fine. I'm hoping to have more of these conversations in the future. This broadcast was scheduled for about an hour, so we're coming up to about 17 minutes left. So, if you're enjoying this, please, by all means, contact Haitian Free Thinkers. Contact us. You can email Haitian Free Thinkers by just typing Haitian Free Thinkers at gmail.com. So that's the email. And of course, we are on all social medias. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just put Haitian Free Thinkers. And then there he is.
Lost my connection. Actually, my laptop just died, so I have to use my phone.
That's fine. That's the devil trying to keep this good information out. So
Okay, okay.
I was just
Carry on.
I was telling the people that will watch this about how they can get in touch with us. But so yeah, so I asked you during your formal education in school. I'm assuming that they're not teaching you that humans came from Adam and Eve. So what did they teach you, and how did that I guess impact your religious um life, if you will?
Okay, so I'm not sure what kind of mental gymnastics did we go through, but yeah, when we studied science, when we studied biology in high school and in college, they didn't touch that issue. So they all just believe in the Genesis story.
What?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, right. So I call it mental gymnastics for a reason because that's what they believed in. So they just believed that Adam and Eve were actual people, and then there was no Big Bang, right? So that's how they believe. Because they would argue that some of our scientists were Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, they were Christians and all that. So that's how they argued about it. That science is okay with fate.
Oh, okay. So that means that there was no real conflict since they're not teaching what we actually know. So now that you are out of religion, are people discovering the true, um, I guess, information that we've been able to find about human origins and about things that possibly, because I don't think you really have to go to school to kind of think about, okay, if we came from two people and then the brother died, one of the brothers died, Cain killed Abel, how did humans, did Cain have sex with his mom? Is that something that, is discussed or thought about at all?
No. Okay, when you ask that kind of question, they would usually respond to you in they would quote a verse like, "My thoughts are not your thoughts."
Ah, my
Okay,
thought.
so yeah. So it's not for you to know, and then you do not need to just believe. Okay, you do not need to know how exactly it happened. Just believe, because when you ask questions, you're questioning God.
And questioning God is bad.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. I know questioning was not necessarily encouraged back when I was a Christian, so you're right. Now, critical thinking is something that you promote in the books that now that has a second edition.
Mm.
Somebody told me, a former member told me a long time ago that basically critical thinking is not the standard way that humans or a lot of people think. You have to train sort of to be a critical thinker. Would you agree to that? Um, would you say that before you had your run-ins with your cousin there, would you say that you were a critical thinker, or do you think that that's something that people have to learn?
I think that it is something that you should learn. Okay, because yeah, it took me time to reach this point, and effort, research. So I did my research, I did my homework, then I reached this point.
Okay. Um, So critical thinking should be taught and it's not second nature, if you will. So um how does the average um and I think there's a name that Filipinos go by. Is it Pinoy? Is that the correct term?
Yeah, Pinoy, yes.
Yeah. So how does the average Pinoy become somewhat familiar with critical thinking if assuming they don't get it from school? Like how would that
Yes.
happen?
Good question. Well, I stumbled upon this group on Facebook, and then I read the materials and all that. I read the discussions, and then that's how I found out about secular humanism and atheism. And I think that they can do the same, because Facebook is like an open library to all information available. So I guess Facebook is a good alternative to that, because most Filipinos are into Facebook. Well, in fact, we are. I think the yeah the most, what's the term? I forgot the term, but where most of the subscribers on Facebook are actually from the Philippines.
Wow. So they're very, very big into Facebook
Facebook.
and social media in general. Are the others like TikTok is very popular right now? Um, is it that same kind of energy, that same kind of um, um, I guess participation as Facebook, or is still Facebook still number one?
Facebook is number one, and then TikTok is second.
Okay. Well, wow. So I've learned quite a bit. Um, are the, as we wrap it up, is there any like footage of you of young AJ preaching out there? Is there
Yeah,
there is?
yeah, of course, yeah. I can.
Okay. That would be
Wait.
that would be great to see. We're coming up on on about an hour. Now we're basically just gonna freestyle. What other things would you think like to share as far as importance about happy? What anything that's coming up that you're about guys are about to do, or about yourself in particular.
Okay. Um, Maybe it's just you just have to be in constant communication with your members. That's it. So what I do now is I try to make them involved with our organizational activities. So that's what I do, and then what I plan to do is we will establish more reading rooms. Okay, so reading rooms are like our best bet for making people more aware about secular humanism, and then making them to train them to think critically, and then we will use that place as well as we will use that place as our venue for our discussions.
Okay. So I definitely look forward to that. I hope that happens. Um I I wanted to see if I can reach out to Marissa, but she looked like she's quite busy. But I'm so glad that she pointed me to you.
Mm,
What if people want to reach out to you and they're interested in the Happy,
sure.
and how would they get in touch with you or Happy?
Yes, they can stay in touch with us through happyhumanist.org. So it's happy, HAPI, humanist.org. Or they can find us through Facebook at Happy Kami. So Kami means us. So Happy, HAPI KAMI. So Happy Kami. So just look for Happy Kami on Facebook, and then it will route you to our Facebook group or our Facebook page.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so it is coming up about an hour in the show as promised. I want to be respectful of the time. AJ, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's close to midnight over there. I
Yeah,
hope we get a chance to do this another time. We'll
sure.
stay in communication. I really appreciate your time and sharing this information. Say hello to Marissa and the rest of the members. I want you guys to know that when I discovered her, it was many years ago. It's probably been since 2014. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so I I think I tried, or I am part of Happy the group. But when I became an atheist, I also was looking for a community. I started Haitian Free Thinkers um, to target Haitians, but I accept pretty much everybody who's like-minded who wants to learn, because it was just a wonderful time, and it was so great for me to find people like yourself. Because, like I said, those who are outside the English-speaking world, who are not the prototypical what people might think atheists look like. I think it's good for us to work together. In fact, I just joined the Atheist Alliance International group so that I can kind of keep working with people from different parts of the world um, to do interviews such as that. But I just want to say thank you once again. Thank you for your time, and you know how to reach me, and hopefully I get to speak to you or any other members in the future. But it's been great. Get some rest. I'll try to do
Yeah.
the same.
Uh,
And as soon as this interview becomes available, I'll send you the link. And if you have anything that shows your old preaching stuff, that would be great. But again, so thank you. Um, and you guys who will watch it live or will watch in the future, this is the kind of thing that we do. If you're interested in us, we're interested in you. Haitian Free Thinkers, just type it wherever you find it. That's us. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Having said that, you guys have a good day, and AJ, you have a good night.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye now.
Bye.